coming to you live on April 26, 2021, live recording at 22:08 hours, 2200 hours, 8 minutes. That is 10:08 Eastern Standard Time. This is titled, "What is the role of a single African Descendant Indigenous Man in America?" The key word was single, as in what role does he play to shape society? And I mean by single, a one that don't have a children, the one that don't get married, and the one that's not playing the game, as in he has women, he have bid buddies, friends with benefits, F partners, the ones that's truly single, not by choice all the time, by selection or election of the dictatorship of what is a quality, eligible, good, or standard of a black man. What role does this African descendant indigenous man play in society in America and around the world? But around the world, I haven't really incorporated myself around the world yet, so I guess it's going to be harder because you're going to need the shot, and I'm not taking the shot. So within the states and where far my feet will take me, how far a bicycle will take me, or bus transportation that I have, wherever I choose, that's how far it would take me. But I'm not worried about the whole world, because for me, I don't feel you have to search the whole world. I don't feel as I have to leave my race, even though I would, for single men that after you get a certain age, and don't matter what the outcome is, because I seen captions and heard things from our race women, he's still corny because he got money. He's still corny because he this, and that. He does nothing to no woman. He don't hurt women. He don't abuse them. He don't treat them wrong. He learn on the fly as he go, regardless. If your father, the strangest noise out here and echo is about a father not being there. Man, now this is my boast of me. I'm gonna boast and brag. Man, I didn't know not having a father there was a difference maker when those same men abuse women. Those same men hurt women. So I didn't know the deal breaker was things that have no effect on your partnership, your bond, your togetherness with a woman. I didn't know that even if you've been through something traumatic or traumatizing, that was a major cost. I want to talk about, I was going to do reversal talking points, but I'll talk about this. If men that explored his sexuality, not saying I did that, I'm just going by what I hear my single African descendant indigenous brother talk about. We are shut down for exploring our sexuality, and then we realize that's not the preference or the direction we want to go. We are shut down. And as our counterpart, she's not shut down. Like, what I learned about power is both powers are as equal, but one voice is stronger than the other voice. One woman voice gets other women, without even getting to know you, to not care for you anymore. And that's another thing. They want us to care for them after they beat us down. Here's an example. A woman would ignore her race man. And then when she finally cried for help, which she always pushed them away, she says and deemed that he didn't help her, that every other race man would help her. But she won't leave out all the race men, the other race men that would not help her. All it takes is one. Have you noticed that? One of him, for the most part. Talking to my lady friend, she said, bring it to 30. I still think it's more of, because if you do 80-20 rule, drop it to the next rule. The 70-30 rule. And then if it's not 70-30, 60-40. So I still think it's a 60% rule, not the 30-70 rule. It's the 60-40 rule of we still have a big divide. We're not even at half, so we have a long way to go just to get to half. Think about that. So what does the single man do in society? Again, define no children, never been married, not abusing and using women in his phallus power. So if he's not doing that, what is his role? And you have to decide that for yourself, because society will make you look bad. Even your own race women sometimes will make you look bad, no matter what you do. But I found to be, for the young man, if you find a young lady at a younger age, you have a better chance of marriage and children and creating a stable family than at an older age, because you will have to be willing to accept now, because I found in my 30s that women later in their life, they have took now everything from baby child to adultness as a woman and accumulated them and calculate them all into one. So now it's a process of healing. And that's all they would tell you. I even hear, have you been healed? Yes, I'm healed, but I never was broken. I never had the things that I hear about young men. My only thing was, you thought if you treated women good, you respected your mother, you honored yourself, you honored women, that's what it was going to take. And then now you hear that's not all. And then you would say, well, you don't want to listen and take advice with men that play with women hurts. No, I take notes. I don't take advice. Because those same men are the same men, if we're going to use the terminologies, will call themselves a certain name. And then when you talk to them, they deflect. They will not know how to talk to you. They will not know, even if you take your mind game or you take your truth and throw your truth away and have a simple discussion about how you got, it would never come to nothing, because when you actually take the time out to be honest, and the word we use is transparent, you're open, you're willing to display your volume of words and understanding atmosphere as a fireside chat or a band of men. A lot of those men can't work within because they don't understand, how are you so good when you have the opportunity to be the Grinch, the Scrooge, or the Hell Man, because they're attracted to me, they're not attracted to you. So why can't you have a sound mind? And basically what they saying, they don't have a sound mind. They can't phantom a mind other than I have to abuse and use. But those are the men that are called the greater terminologies and given the first. So when you make it to a certain age, it's going to be hard to find love, because every woman just about is going to have a child. At the first, a couple of months ago, I was meeting women with no children, but those women mindsets was, I'm single and I'm waiting for a certain caliber of man. Don't matter if he was good or bad. I'm going to wait on a certain caliber of man and see if that's more. But you 9 to 5, you make under such a less, and you don't have such and such, that man will not be garnered or chosen in the sense of who his place in society for being good and doing all the work as their counterpart, the women, did, to say, wow, it's actually a man that don't have a whole bunch of children, that's not strung out on drugs, that's not using his finances to do things he shouldn't do, that's not inducive to the stigmas and stereotypes. He actually now, which I would lead with first, which I don't, I lead with the other stuff to let them know you chose, because the majority of the guys that they were more the victim, quote unquote, they're calling themselves victims, but I don't know how you a victim when you have a choice of who you want to be with. The guys that they are under or chose to be with, which is the better word you should be using, they chose them, they received them. Those were the men that have the children with them. So imagine their seed being dropped off inside of their womb. Now, imagine their seed coating their womb. If you coat unhealthy with unhealthy, what do you get? Unhealthy, you can't get nothing. That's why I never understood the positive and the negative. Two negatives never made a positive. But if you have an opportunity to take a positive and a negative, you have an opportunity to get positive out of that. And that's where a lot of the African descendant indigenous men in America have done. But the news, social media outlets, the news outlets, quote unquote, has led the way in our narratives. Hashtag Black Brother Talk, Brother Talk series, sorry about that, Brother Talk series, which is going to be great because it's going to lead the way into these topic and discussions for us to change our narrative, to show our expression on what the greatness he have done. How many of my brothers can say, no prison time? I didn't get selected, but I still made a way for me and my family. I still was a good son. You was born to a man and a woman, you was a son. You might have, if you're not the only child, you have a sibling. You was good to your brother and sister, or you did your best because you were the older brother. Even if you're the younger brother, what things you learned from your older brother that was good and what you partaked on. If you are a younger brother and your older brother just so happened to not establish his good in him earlier in life. So these are points, talking points, narratives, expressions that in dialogue and discussions as brothers, we should be able to talk to about. So the next generation of brothers don't fall or succumb to society, order, and rule, which don't have nothing to do with them. And I say that, no, society has nothing to do with me. Because if I look within the African descendant indigenous community, I don't correlate. There is nothing that correlate or calm that within that society shows me about me. Nothing. I didn't do the drugs. I didn't sell the drugs. I didn't use the women. I wasn't elected from the history of turmoil, corruption, and toxicity and the negative of the standard of African descendant indigenous man. Because I didn't partake. I didn't do the drugs. I didn't smoke the weed. I didn't do the crack. I didn't do the cocaine. I never found that. I didn't come an alcoholic. I didn't rob people. I didn't be violent for my anger. I didn't shoot someone. But that's all they tell us. But I'm part of the brothers that went to college, that graduated high school, that treated my mother with respect, that treated women with the most of the knowledge she allowed me to give her respect or love or genuity of my goodness of my heart. My moral and value ethics were very high and positive and good. The goodness of me shown the best of I known. So if I didn't know, I learned it later. Not saying the brothers can't learn or can't get better, because I'm starting to work with brothers that did. And I tell them, when I finally get a point, just as if I'm talking to a woman, but this is my brother, I say, well, you did all that. And cool, you're not doing it no more. But what have you done? So even in our place in society, I figure more so, if you're a single African descendant man in society, your best option, if you don't partake and do all those things, is is create a space for men as you and other men eventually, when you get comfortable enough, that did do all those things, make a space and talk, have a dialogue, have a discussions, have verses when you come together and battle each other on a friendly stage. And then at the end, give each other hugs, say, I love you, my brother. Because I do love my brother. Because we're going to love their sister, but for that moment, for this time, we making a space for our brothers to say we love them, regardless of what you done and how you did it. I don't care who you harm. So even though it sounds funny, we have to be the backbone because we have no support. When you're a single African descendant, indigenous man, you have no support. Because most women make a choice to be single. You don't find you attractive. They don't find you of quality or value. So you can't get mad and bash them for that. That's they fit. They're gonna keep going for they fit. I'll go through that. They're fit. It got a fit. It has to fit them in some way. They demand it and command it, and you can't change it. They fit. There's nothing you can do about it. They demand it and command it, and you can't change it. So as long as you hold yourself on a strong standard, whether you die a father, you pass on a father, leave something for the young men of our. I want to leave a lot of goodness, whether it's in my notes or a time capsule, or it's in these videos that the young brothers can say, you don't have to follow society. Just as when you go to job. I don't worry about what everybody doing. You know why? They say that I work for the white man. I'm not mad. But you know what I'm there for? To do my job. So in my job details my responsibility and what? My duties. I don't go there looking for, oh, he gonna do this. No, I'm not worried about him. And the quicker we learn that as single African descendant indigenous males, don't worry about that hood dude that get all the vagina, the coochie, and that she giving him all those babies. Don't worry. It's a talking point at a point, and you gonna use it for the greater good, which I try to do my best. But don't worry. That's the key word, is worry. They can have that because that's what they're attracted to. If they're attracted to something, you can't change it. You can't tell that woman to don't be attracted to these men, don't matter what, because they're going to choose it regardless if you're around or if you're not. You can be the most loving African descendant indigenous man. You can be the most caring, you can be the most honest, you can be the most transparent, you can be the most open, most willing, loving, faithful, dedicated. Think of all the good words. It don't matter to them. If they don't see you, they don't see you. And you cannot force that. So let it be. And when you let it be, and you be who you are, she will find you, or I learned this so hard, brothers. Even as I'm talking to a woman or women I want to get to know, man, accept your plight. That's not what it's already fitted. You can't change the fit. Sometimes it's a one size fit all. Sometimes it's not a one size fit all. A 60 is not the one size fit all. So if we do the 70-30, so 70% of them is not a one size. So go to your city, 70% of women already said they're not going to change that. Don't get mad. Don't get angry. They already told you. We are not changing that. That is what they desire. Let them desire that. Let them create what they want to create within them in their mind. Their demand and command. You cannot change it. You got to let them have that. That's their fit. And the faster we start doing that and opening ourselves up, and if you got to do what you got to do, brother, go. That love gonna find you. Not in some bad way. You're not gonna be last either. If you want a good woman, you're gonna have a good woman. So what I say unto all, it's your path, it's your journey, it's your choice. Choose wisely. And brother, you are a good African descendant man.